Former Bristol Mayor George Ferguson says he is tempted to submit a design for a new spire to sit atop the renovated Notre-Dame Cathedral. The retired architect said the answer could be anything from the reproduction of the spire to nothing at all, and he stressed the importance of rebuilding the damaged cathedral by incorporating remnants from the fire to avoid banishing what was now a major part of its history. The blaze tore through the cathedral on Tuesday night last week, burning through its wooden latticework roof and overwhelming the 19th-century lead-covered spire, which collapsed. Read more. The UNESCO World Heritage Site will be rebuilt. Even more beauty. French President Emmanuel Macron has pledged his donations, so far amounting to almost £1 billion, come in. Responding to French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe's announcement that an international architectural competition for the redesign of the church's roofline will be launched, Mr. Ferguson said, "Good conservation is not just about replacement, you have to think what is relevant after such a major event in the history of the cathedral." Mr. Ferguson said the rebuild should maintain some remnants of the fire. Bad conservation can be about simply replacing what was there before. You have to think about every disaster as an opportunity. Such opportunities can be lost if you do resort to a banal replacement. I think it is great France is launching a competition for designs to replace the spire. Would I submit a bid? It is very tempting. What would be dreadful is if the spire went up as some flashy stainless steel intrusion into the magic of Notre Dame. Mr. Ferguson served as Bristol's first elected mayor from 2012 to 2016, but is also well known for his work in the regeneration of historical buildings, having co-founded Ferguson Mann Architects in 1979. Read more. The 72-year-old was involved in the immediate conservation of Prior Park in Bath following a fire in 1991. He admires the redevelopment of the Bristol Old Vic Theatre. Mr. Ferguson said the revamp of the Old Vic and the reconstruction of the Reichstag in Berlin, in which he was involved in the historic fabric survey, offered good examples of careful conservation of key sites. He said, "Rebuilding of Notre Dame should include a careful, sensitive record of the fire. It would be right that it kept some of the scars left by the fire." A wonderful example of a rework of a building is Bristol Old Vic, where you still see the roughness of the walls and little details from its past, and at the Reichstag you can still see the bullet holes and graffiti. I think it is also important so the history is still there and can be seen by future generations. The former Bristol mayor believes time and thought should go into what is done next. With the centuries-old church, a 5-year timetable to rebuild the cathedral in time for the 2024 Paris Olympics has been set by Mr. Macron, but experts have said such a deadline is ambitious. Mr. Ferguson believes the rebuild of the site will not start for at least 2 years. And the project, he said, should lead to a UNESCO-sponsored University of Historic Building Conservation, providing an opportunity to train a new breed of craftspeople from across the world. He said, "This is the greatest test to the philosophy of repair and restoration that not just France but the world has faced for some time. There should not be a knee-jerk reaction." Read more. By yesterday, donors had pledged £800 million, with much of it coming from France's wealthiest individuals and companies. Mr. Ferguson said, "It is a great redistribution of money. Some people say, why not give the money to starving people in Africa? I don't think it is an either/or situation. We need to do both things. Culture has a great value.